Chica gets crushed in FNAF Security Breach, but how does it actually look off camera from a behind-the-scenes perspective? Let's quickly check it out, because it's quite funny. Chica's hunger gets the best of her, unfortunately. The way that Chica gets scrapped is that the player collects Monty mix from the bowling alley and then adds it to the trash compactor. Chica then starts chowing down, and Gregory comes out for blood as he activates the trash smasher. This doesn't immediately work though, so Gregory has to push Chica in himself. Chica gets crushed instantly, and then as the compactor is resetting, Chica springs up at Gregory, who then kicks off her beak. The trash compactor kicks in its secondary smash, and Chica's eyes pop out of her head as she gets pressed against the side of the machine. Her and Gregory then slide into the trash compactor. Okay, so there's a ton to go over here. Unlike Monty, this isn't broken up into separate shots at different locations as the animatronic gets destroyed. So as soon as you press the button, Chica is warped to the doorway where the cutscene begins. She then just sort of wanders on in and says that she smells pizza. During this walking animation, her face is kind of bugging out, but it's not until she reaches the interior of the trash compactor that the assets inside of it load in. Watching Chica from the Monty Mix point of view in slow motion is a bit intense though. We can see from another angle that she really isn't eating anything, and that the Monty Mix and garbage she's eating just spawns in front of her and falls. Gregory just sort of appears in the background and begins to reach for the button with his mutant arm. It must be swollen since he broke it back in Monty Golf. Gregory then proceeds to sink into the floor before he warps out of view when the shot changes. This is when Chica hears the smashed compactor clicking on, and her expression in slow motion just looks like she thought of something pleasant. Once the shot swaps again, Gregory appears in the back of the room, and his legs appear to be broken. When Chica looks back at him, Gregory just melts into the floor before coming out of it to race towards Chica. He just kind of twists out of the ground as he slides across the room like a demon, getting ready to possess her. Kinda surprising that Gregory can straight up push a 300-pound animatronic as far as he does. Kid's got some cannons for arms, man. You can appreciate this more in slow motion because it is the sheer impact of Gregory's hands that launches Chica, unlike someone actually pushing over a heavy object. After Chica tumbles, Gregory looks like he's about to start doing the Gangnam Style dance. From another angle, slow motion Chica looks like she got shot in a war and is about to give her final monologue before dying. The boy ain't having it though, because if we look at Gregory's face at this part, it appears his brain has stopped functioning. Now for the good part. As Chica reaches for Gregory, she gets smashed, and we can see how this is pulled off. So the animators continually animate her body and have it collapse before the head of the trash smasher. Once there's no longer any room, they begin to push Chica's body through the floor. Because of the camera angle, you can't really see this. She eventually gets pushed farther down and clips through the trash compactor itself. And this is ultimately where a model swap is going to happen. So as the trash compactor lifts up, the original model of Chica is going to fall through the ground as the broken Chica slides in from the right side. This is so that when Chica springs upwards, she's now damaged. Beneath the map, we can find the original model with its head torn off, stuck in a free fall pose. This Chica will stay down here until the cutscene finishes and all cutscene related assets are unloaded. If we change our angle, we can see this Chica and the Chica above her in the same shot. And it's kinda neat seeing it from this perspective as the Chica up top starts to move. Chica doesn't get her beak until right before the trash compactor lifts up, and it suddenly spawns in. Up top, she continues to slide into view of the camera as Gregory sits there, debating on if he should go to the hospital for a severely broken ankle. Good lord, man. Gregory just kinda slides backwards until Chica's eyes open. She starts to get up, and as she lunges towards Gregory, his foot rotates completely around. I had a brain fart and moved the camera for a second, but you can see the start and ending of that rotation so that his joints are aligned for getting grabbed by Chica. Gregory's neck looks like a bent noodle at this point, and I'm honestly not sure if he's gonna make it. This is when Gregory is thrown to the ground as he clips through the bottom of the compactor. He struggles for a bit before kicking off Chica's beak into the air. If we follow the beak, we can see it just sort of clips to the ground and lands in the trash. But now it's time to watch Chica's eyes pop out in slow motion. So, the second compactor just goes through all the other objects in the area and only pushes Chica. I'm not sure why this happens, but for some reason, the textures on the back of Gregory's model appear to be stretched and burned. As Chica's space gets limited, we can look behind the scenes to see her legs clipping through the ground and into the trash. Gregory's textures magically heal, and now it's game over for Chica. Grab some popcorn, because as her face gets pinned against the metal, you can see how much care went into this part. The detailing is great, And even the metal on the side of the compactor is getting bent out of shape as Chica's head resists getting crushed. Out of view, Gregory's model has gotten all weirdly stretched out, with his neck being the most extreme. This neck and head joint contains the game's camera though, so that's why it looks strange. All that matters is the position of the camera, and the head and body are sort of along for the ride. And then, finally, Chica's eyes pop and the struggle is over. She goes motionless as she slides back into the trash compactor. I'm not sure why this happens exactly, since they are both resting horizontally, but both her and Gregory slip into the trash as Gregory's hip and leg practically get torn off. They both slide into the darkness out of bounds, and the cutscene ends. The next thing we see is Chica sitting there, having certainly seen better days.